Coach Amelia here with today's workout, video number 2 of 4 in this series. This is the workout explanation and movement prep as well as scaling options. So today's workout is called Tumilson Twist. So it's a modification of a typical hero workout we have seen. It is a 16-minute AMRAP, meaning as many rounds and reps as possible in 16 minutes of a 200-meter run and 11 burpee dumbbell deadlifts. The substitution for a 200-meter run, if you're doing this indoors, and that's what I'll be demonstrating today, is 100 running steps, and we'll go over those. We also have some options for how we're doing these dumbbell deadlifts. So as I mentioned in video 1, please get a set of dumbbells or a kettlebell or a single dumbbell or any odd object that you can lift. It could be a water bottle. It could be relatively heavy because these are deadlifts, so we're not taking them up and overhead, but something that you can lift at the end of a burpee. So go ahead and pause this. Grab that equipment if you haven't yet already, and then we'll get started warming up these movements. If you can map out a 200-meter run and it's nice out, go ahead and do that. I will probably try this workout later with the 200-meter run, but for today, I'll demonstrate the running steps inside. Go and get our clock started, keep me on track for time, and join me in standing. So when I think about running form, we want to think about keeping our bodies stacked, our torso over our hips, and just that slight forward incline when we run. So one thing to help us find that running posture is to kind of step forward and see where you land and see if you can keep that same posture in place. Okay, so if you're taking that run outside, that's a good drill that you can use to find that step, and then you want to keep that to help propel you forward. Let's get a few butt kicks here, thinking about that body position. Good, and then we'll get a few high knees. And our running steps might look between the two of those. And how we're going to count them is every time the right foot hits the ground, that'll be our 1. So for running in place, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 100 running steps. It's really 200 steps. Okay, we're going to count every time the right foot falls as a count. If you need to march in place, if the impact of running is too much, that's an option 2. And if it gets to be too much, too long, if it's taking you more than a minute to complete the 100 running steps, scale it back. Maybe do 50, so you just keep going with rounds of the movement. If you're outside, you'd map out a 200-meter course or 100 meters one way, turn around and come back, and use that for the run portion of this workout. Next, let's talk about the burpee all on its own. And this would be an option if you don't have an object to deadlift, is to just do burpees. A burpee is anytime we get our chest to the ground. You can either step, okay, or you can hop back, and then lower the chest to the ground, and then bring yourself back up by either stepping up towards your hands, or you can hop up. You release the hands, and then we always think about this hop at the top. And if you're just doing burpees with no device for deadlift, you can include that hop at the top. But for today, we're going to get our burpee, and then we're going to pick an object up and deadlift. So really, we're going to finish our movement here today at full extension with the arms at the side or in front of us because we're holding an object. But let's just make sure we're warmed up for the burpee. So go ahead and practice a couple stepping back and stepping up and standing. You switch legs. We're doing the stepping. And if you're going to convert to a hop back, go ahead and do that. Hopping, lowering yourself down. You can use a little bit of that kind of worming technique. So it's not a strict push-up to bring you to the top. And if you're hopping, hop and try to release the hands like that frog position we did in the warm-up. And then stand tall. That's the burpee portion. And now how does it look when we add an object? So I'm going to start with a set of dumbbells. And if you have them, go ahead and find them and get them in place. You're going to have them on either side of your feet here, okay? And how it looks is you're holding the handles of the dumbbell and you're stepping or hopping back to the bottom of a burpee. You can get your chest all the way to the ground between them. And then you are going to lift yourself up, hop. Okay, my feet are between the dumbbells, and my chest is toned down, my back is engaged, okay? And I'm going to come from here and stand up. Then I lower them back down, step or hop back, lower myself, hop forward, and stand up again. So dumbbells, particularly if they have hexagonal heads on them, will stay in place and give you kind of that platform to work against. I'm going to demonstrate that from the side here so you can see how your back should stay engaged. So I'm going to put them down, hop or step back, hop forward. I'm engaged here, so I'm not rounded as I'm lifting. Okay, chest, tall, and proud. So take that second to get set and then stand back up. You can test it into more of a sumo position if that feels better for you, where you would have the weights between, okay? And then you could step or hop back. You wouldn't get as low in the burpee part, but then you could have your feet outside and be more of a sumo deadlift. That might be favorable if you just had one as well. And let's talk about that. So ideally, my recommendation, if you have two, is to have them outside the feet and fall this way. That gets you in that strong, secure position for your push-up type part of the movement and allows you to get set with the back as you go to stand tall. What if you just have one? So you have one dumbbell or one kettlebell. My recommendation here is to have that in front of you, maybe a little farther up, to do your burpee behind it, making sure you're far enough away so you're not going to hit your head. Do your burpee, stand up, and you can stay in this lower position, take a step forward, and then do a sumo type lift. Okay, it's one extra step in the movement, but I really want you to make sure that your back is set and strong when you're doing this. The other option you could do is have it right next to you, do a burpee back, and do what we call suitcase deadlift with just one arm, and then you would just step to the other side so you keep it even, hopping up. So then your extra step is just to the other side between. Okay, and like that. So go ahead and test that with either the suitcase deadlift or the sumo, remembering that it could also be an odd object around your house. Okay, so I had this water bottle. I could do either of those. I could be next to it, setting my back, standing tall, other side, setting my back, standing tall, or have it in front of me. Take a step forward into my sumo stance and pick it up that way. Okay, so a number of options of how you could do the burpee deadlift. Remember, it calls for 11 in each round, interrupted by the 200-meter run or the 100 steps in place. Let's just do a brief practice round here, and then we'll get into the workout. So let's start with 10 steps in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2 burpee dumbbell deadlifts. And if it's hard to get low, my other recommendation would be to just stay at the top of a plank, like a step or hop back. Okay, and that can also help so you're really getting that engaged back position. So pick your burpee version, pick your odd object that you're going to lift, either 2 on either side, 2 in a sumo, 1 on either side, stepping around, using that suitcase deadlift, or 1 in the center, taking a step forward into a sumo deadlift. All right, join me in the next video and we'll do the workout together.